All right, so leading gapper that we have here on watch is CELZ. Shoot. Sorry, give me a second. Okay, so leading gapper we have is CELZ. I was waiting for the 5 minutes, so the 5 minute already broke. I'm gonna have to wait now. I've been reading a lot about stocks these past couple days, and I don't want to say I have a breakthrough or anything yesterday, but I figured out what I'm doing is kind of just sloppy, that I'm not really focusing on an individual setup or an individual move. I'm kind of just floating around here, trying to see what works, but the market changes every single day. So, shoot, is my thing even streaming? Yeah, okay. Hold on. For some reason, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so I haven't been focusing on a move specifically or a certain strategy. So one recommendation I had read was to look for a setup or several setups and focus on those only. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to look and wait for those specific setups, and if they don't come my way, then I just won't take the trade. I just won't trade at all. Because right now what I'm kind of just doing is throwing it around, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. But I realized during the time in which I was very successful with my trades, the move quickly went away after like 2 months, 3 months. That same strategy stopped working. So the market's always adjusting. So what works now is not going to work, several months from now, possibly, or even years. So, what I need to focus on is patterns, because patterns do work. It's just finding those specific patterns and then having a strategy to actually tackle that pattern specifically, or patterns. So right now what I'm looking for is what I'm starting to notice a lot more is triangle patterns or pennants. So I'm going to be looking for those triangles or flags. I noticed looking for them staircasing down has been a lot easier than to the long side. So I don't know. We can potentially look for those there. But so far, CELZ is the only one that I like. I think another thing I'm going to do is trade stocks that are above view up only, because it seems that the ones that are below view up, like these, they are making moves. Like this is a pretty big move there. But I'm just never successful with the ones below view up. So let's see, NRSN. So all these that I had on watch, LLL, they're all popping up, and that's because they looked really trash to me prior. So the only one that's not doing so hot is CELZ right now. CELZ pre-market was okay, a bit choppy, but it was okay. What is it called? It's just not as successful, it seems, as these other ones. So LBPS is actually pulling away now. RZLT, it's still climbing. I just don't like how far below V up it is. And then we got NRSN. This one's finally breaking through above view up. I think it's at its halt level here, about to get halted. Let's see. And it broke its daily high, so that's pretty cool. So LLL, it's another one. Let's see what NRSN is going to do. This one has a lot more volume in it. So I might get in here for a 5 minute high break. Spreads are pretty big. I already don't like that 10-cent spreads. So let's see if I can get in for a 5 minute high push. 32 is VWAP. There's a break lower. So we have one pullback, one rip, another pullback. Let's see if we get another rip here. If it breaks this 5-minute low, nope, getting in here at 640 for the break of 650. There's 45, there's 47, there's 50, 51, selling there at 51. Well, so I got out there at actually 59. So realistically, it would have filled me at 51. I would have got 11 cents there, but I got out at 59 according to the chart here. So got in at VWAP. Once I'd seen it popped up and held this low, I got in for the 1-minute high break. What is it? Really, I went for the $0.50 break of 650. I got it. It seemed a little slow at 52. Tried to sell there, and eventually I did get filled here at 59. So NRSN is our new stock on watch. This is probably the one that has the most action at the moment. Pretty stuck there at 71. Back down to 53 on the bid. Let's see if we can get a move higher here. So we have one pullback, another pullback. Is this going to be a third pullback before we see another rip? No, it looks like this one's just going to rip without us. Double top there. Needs to break 75. Double top at 75. It's having a hard time there. So 2 pullbacks. 3 pullbacks actually. As long as it holds this pullback, we should be good. I don't want to see this thing flush all the way down below VWAP or to VWAP really. So there's VWAP. Okay, let's see if we get a third candle to rip and potentially break through 7. Next 10-minute opens in 3 minutes. So this is our third pullback candle. Little whippy here. Gotta be careful. I'm gonna buy in here at 64 if I can get filled. Cancel that order. Better fill here at 61. See if we can get that 70 break. There's 66, 65. Want to see a rip. Coming up to the 30-second mark. So we're holding 50 so far. 60 again. 62. See if we get the rip all the way to 70. You possibly see it on this next 1 minute. So I'm in at 61 and I'm looking for the next 1 minute high. There's a 2 candle consolidation here. There's a break of 50. I'm gonna have to stop out. So we had 2 candles this time. So usually after 3 candle or after the third pullback, it's kind of just done. I don't want to say done, but it's very difficult to trade after 3 consecutive pullbacks like that and to see it continue ripping. Now we have a change in pattern here. So we have 2 pullbacks, 2 pullback candles now. 5-minute doesn't look the best. And we have about another minute 30 before the next 5-minute opens. 10-minute as well. 10-minute still looks good, but this could just be some consolidation before we see that 10-minute continue higher. If this can hold VWAP, I do like this flag pattern, and we can go ahead and get in for another entry here at 650. So I am liking that it's holding. I'm going to get in again at 653 for the next 5-minute high to break. Oh, my bad. For the next 1 minute high to break. So there's 1 minute to 660 there. See if we can get a push to 670. 65. 68, 70, 75. Selling there at 75. Canceling 73. Got filled there at 73. There's a push through 680. So it was a double top here originally at 75. Tried to sell at 75. That wasn't filled. I got filled at 73 up here though. Once I'd seen that I had that 75 struggle. So we did get that break that I was looking for. It was a change in momentum here, change in pattern. We did get a flag this time. So this time it was a pullback, flag, full flag, and now we had a rip, but massive rejection here. So now it's actually not looking too hot on the next 5 and 10 minute. I would have to wait for this one to set up properly again. That was a massive rejection. We're gonna go ahead and swap stocks here. Let's go to LFG. LFG is in the scans. It's a higher price stock. Go to LBPS. LBPS, massive rip there under VWAP for the break of VWAP actually. Massive rip. That's insane. So far we've had two nice trades. One of them wasn't the best. I should have stopped out a lot quicker instead of taking this massive loss. So 61 sold at 41. So it took a 20-cent loss there. 15 cent is usually my stop. 15 cents, Jesus. So 15 cents is usually where my stop's at, but I think I'm gonna have to trade a little tighter than that. I think once it's just not pushing in the direction in which I want, I'm gonna have to stop out. Like I said, I gave it some time here, but once I broke that 1 minute low, I should have known as it was coming through to 50 and 53, I should have stopped out instead of dragging it on all the way down here to 41. But I let it break that 1 minute low, and then I went ahead and sold out of my position. So let's go back to CELZ, our leading gapper here. Leading gapper on CELZ isn't looking the best. We pulled back to VWAP. Now we're pulling back. I think we're going to staircase down on this one, break through VWAP eventually. Just because the 5 minute doesn't look the best. It looks okay, but it's pretty choppy. And it seems pre-market that it had a lot of resistance in this level. So unless this thing can somehow make a huge move from 650 here all the way to 690 and start, getting a little more action or a little more wild, then we could definitely see a pull away to 4. But right now in this range, it doesn't look the best. NRSN. So this one's now below VWAP. 5 minute doesn't look too bad. I want that 10 minute to pop back up. If we can get that 10 minute to break 650 and then ride it all the way to 660, that doesn't look too bad. There's 650. You could take an entry here at 47. Got to be careful here because there's 660, but pattern could be changing on us here. 665, 675. So nice rip there. Should have got in at 47, as I mentioned earlier. That would have been a really nice move. So there's one big opportunity I missed on this one. 75 again. Let's see if we get the break. There's 80. It's gonna double top and reject up here at 90 or 85. So there is a rejection back to 61, but it's still above VWAP, hasn't tanked below. Okay, so now a new pattern setting up once more on the 1 minute at least. So we had pullback, false break, below VWAP. Now it's above VWAP, and now it's holding again. It's basically restarting this whole pattern is what it looks like. I'm gonna wait for some sideways consolidation before we take another entry for a rip higher through potentially 690 and 7. We don't have much resistance on the daily. Really, our target should be 818. 5 minutes just sideways. So I'm gonna wait for the next 1 minute candle to open before I take any entry position. If this breaks the high, which you double top right there for a second, if it breaks, I'm still gonna wait for a pullback. So there's the break. Now we got 3 candles up. It's rejecting all the way down to 59. So false break. I'm gonna wait for a better setup, potentially on the 5 minute. So just gonna wait for that next 5 minute candle to open. If this pulls back towards VWAP like it is here, it's a potential buy and just hold in this range. So there was a pullback at 650 flat on the bid. I don't know what it showed on the ask, but on the bid it was 650 flat. So as long as this can hold this level, we can definitely see a move over 7. We need this 5 minute high to break though. 10 minutes gonna open pretty high as well, so I can potentially get in on a micro pullback here in the 60s, but that's where I'd really want to get in. If this breaks this last 1 minute high, I'm gonna have to reconsider my trade entirely. That's a rethink of this whole thing. So now it's pretty extended on the 1 minute. I'm kind of nervous to take a trade up here so high. So I'm going to buy this dip at 75, and I'm going to go for the break of 7. So far it's kind of stuck here. I'm going to reconsider. So I bought a pullback, and twice in a row that hasn't worked out in my favor just yet. It's 83. See if we can get a push through 83. Still going for that 5-minute high break. We might get a quick rip. That's all I'm looking for the break of 7. There's 83 again. See if we get the break of 83, 85. There we go. 90. See if we get the break of 7 here. 92, 95, 88, 99. Selling there. I don't think it's going to break 7 here, if I'm being honest. I think it's going to take a little bit. So selling there at 90. Okay, never mind. I was completely wrong. So I should have held for that break. Just the way that I was chopping around in the 90s, I had a feeling it wasn't going to do it. But, you know, I was completely wrong there. I should have actually held. If I'm being honest, I got a little nervous, and I sold out of my position pretty quick. So unfortunately, I couldn't capture the whole profit there. I was about 20 cents higher than what I wanted, or higher than what I got. So yeah, I didn't get that full trade in like I should have. So really, my main target was the break of 7, and I sold at 6.99 there. So what a nice move that was. Again, I'm trading the pattern that I'm seeing. So now I'm just focusing on what I'm looking for. So I swapped from the 1 minute on that chart to the 5 minute on this chart. I didn't see a pattern that I really liked on the 1 minute. Swapped to the 5 minute and the 10 minute, and I had seen what was coming up was the break of this last 5 minute high, and that seemed to be working for me. I knew that 7 was going to be a big push, especially with how whippy this one is. So I liked that this one pulled back, 2 candle pullback here. It actually held support at VWAP. Could have entered at 660 like I should have, but I just decided to wait it out, wait for the perfect candle to come out, buy that micro pullback here on the next 1 minute open, see the push through this last 1 minute high, and a rip to 7, how I was expecting. Now, if it didn't rip through 7, it actually double topped here at 690, then I would have had to stop out around 670, 680, and just, you know, taking either a loss or a small win for a reattempt through some sideways consolidation. Still, my main target was the break of the 5 minute. So look at this massive rip. This whole thing's going without me. Now this is a whole new setup. 5 minutes really extended up here, and the 1 minute's pretty extended. It can break 750 and then eventually go to the halt level here at 65. I wouldn't even doubt it. So just like I said right there, 65. It's not really holding though. Let's see if it gets halted or just pulls back. If it pulls back, this is a completely new setup. So we have 4 candles up now, whole different move. Now I'm trying to consider what I should be going for. At this point, I think the daily high of 818 should be the new target, but I would like to see 2 candles of or 2 consolidation candles. If we get one, we get one, and that's all we really need, I guess. High here is 765. It's pulling back to 28 now. As long as we don't break 7, if we can get a pullback, another pullback candle to 7, that'd look great. But it has to pop up after that. We'd have to see this. Okay, so it's pulling back quite a bit here. We know earlier this morning this one would rip, pull back tremendously, and then rip again, pull back, and rip again. So let's see what this wants to do. There's a touch of 7. We're going to get the break of 7. If we do get the break of 7, can we see this pop all the way back up? So there's the break of 7. Back to 7 on the ask. It's not popping here though. So no, now this one's just selling off at this point. Touch of VWAP there. So after a massive ride like that, you know, I could have gotten here, could have gotten here again, could have gotten on any of these moves. But after a massive rip like that, it's gonna need a pullback. So here's our 2-candle pullback. It's still opening pretty low, so it might be 3 candles if not a rejection through VWAP. 5-minute does not look the best, and 10-minute also does not look the best. This is gonna have to be a longer setup, I'd say. We'd have to wait another 10 minutes, I would assume, just to get this thing going again. But LBPS resumed here. So I do like the 5-minute on this one. 5-minute just opened, same with the 10-minute. Both, or all 3 charts look exactly the same actually. So here's a push, that was a breakthrough 8. Spreads on this one aren't bad, 5 cents. So I could have bought that, down towards 8. And here's a rip through the last 1-minute high. Couldn't hold that level though. It's breaking, or it's holding 850, which is good, but it's not ripping. So it made a big move here though, pulled back from its original open here, and then it ripped all the way back up. So this one's really strong. I just don't know where I want to get in on this one. Should have got in there for the 5 and 10-minute high break. It already broke, so now I have to wait for a pullback. I don't see a particular setup on the 1-minute that seems familiar to me or that I really like. So that's why I'm going to wait for a proper setup before I take any trades on it. The 5-minute, it was there. Even the 1-minute was there, but I didn't expect it to rip the way it did. I kind of had a feeling it would just because of how volatile this one seems to be, but I didn't expect it to do it right there. And my charts and stuff are glitched. As you can see down here, it says that I was buying the stock or just buying this in general. But, I've never taken a trade on this one. Let's see if I can fix it here. NRSN. So NRSN is now stair-stepping down. That's what it looks like. We got our first pullback and now our second consolidation streak there. Let's go back to LBPS. So there, now my charts are fixed. So we have one consolidation candle. It did break this high, shows a little weakness up here. We have 2 consolidation candles and a flag here forming. So if this can hold this small range at 850, I could potentially take another trade for the break of 875. But if that doesn't work out, then we'd have to wait for the next 5 minutes to set up. So right now, I do like how it's holding this level, still holding 850, 860. And the next 1 minute's about to open. Let's see what it's going to do in this last couple seconds of this last 1 minute candle. So I'm going to get in here. Well, wasn't filled there at 69, and that's okay because it's pulling back now. So we got a quick break. And now a rejection back to 35. Rejection entirely. Now it's double bottoming there at the last 1 minute low. So kind of good thing I wasn't filled there. Sorry for the background noise. If you hear something in the background, it's my neighbor cutting the grass. So hopefully it's not too bothersome, or hopefully it's not even picking up on the mic. So we get one massive rejection here on LBPS. It's not looking the best. Pulling all the way back down to 8 now. So that was a false break. We did get that triangle set up here, this flag, but it rejected, so it wasn't holding that level. And I should have known because 3 times we had these wicks up here and it couldn't hold this level. The only reason I wanted to take this trade was because this green candle here was holding its place above 850 especially. And knowing that it did break, it broke by, I don't know, 6-7 cents, I'd say. It just couldn't hold. It broke its last high, which was 77. It broke it by 3 cents and then rejected all the way back down below 8. So there's a touch of VWAP, but now at the same time as NRSN's pulling back, I think this one's going to do basically the exact same thing. So we come back to NRSN. Here's our second stage of a pullback. And now we're going to get a consolidation, or we're going to get more consolidation, but a pullback towards VWAP eventually for another staircase setup, I guess. and then we're going to see it break its lows down here if we can. If it doesn't break its lows, this is a head and shoulders setup, which would be crazy to see. So here's one shoulder, here's the head, and then if we can get another one, we can either see it, continue ripping, or we can see it break even lower. So if it is head and shoulders, it should be continuing to the downside, but we'll see what it wants to do. That would be very interesting. That would be the first time I think I'd ever see one on a 1 minute chart live, I guess. So we'll see what that wants to do. LBPS is also breaking below VWAP now. See what our leading gapper is doing. CELZ, rejection. So CELZ couldn't hold, and now CELZ is rejecting below VWAP. It seems to be the trend at this point of the day. Everything's kind of just fading. COTS, I'm not really interested in this one. It's not as volatile, I'd say. 10 minute does not look bad though. I do like the 10 minute, but it's just not as volatile. RZLT, same thing, I'm not interested. 9, not interested. BKKT, no, I'm not interested in this one either. Doesn't look too good. SOPA, same thing. Posh. Seems like it's kind of choppy. So now I'm not interested in the way the price action on that one. So LLL here, we traded this one yesterday. I don't think we did so hot on it, but LLL, we have a massive rip and then a huge consolidation here. I guess it was just dead. It was pretty choppy. There was just no action on it. I can potentially trade around this range here, and then we can see another rip. But for me to really be interested in this one, it has to set up above 4, has to start consolidating or at least holding, trading sideways at 4 before we see another rip to 420 here. And that would look really interesting to me, but right now it's below VWAP, and it rejected massively from this huge move up here, and I don't know, I'm just not interested in that one. GAN does not look bad here. Let me see. We are getting a massive setup here. As long as it can keep holding this level, it doesn't look too bad for a rip through 450. It's 450 on the ask, but we could potentially see this go even higher. It's just pretty well, it's not light on volume necessarily, but it's just really choppy. It's not moving at all, so I'm not gonna bother. LBPS halted going down now, so this one is gonna take a long time before we see another setup, and we're coming up to 57 already, or 58, or 10 a.m. So I'm not really feeling this one. Not really feeling all the stuff that's going on with the other stocks. Everything's kind of just dead. Our main two, NRSN and LBPS, that we were trading today are just kind of flops at this point. Trading below VWAP, and I don't know. I'm just not really interested anymore. So we wrapped it up here. We got profit. We traded, I'd say, very good trades, except for this one over here. I should have stopped it a lot sooner. We should have been up at least 100 today. But for the most part, it was really good trades throughout the day. I don't know. I'm happy with what I got. I guess I really should slow down and look at what I'm trading, understand what I'm trading when it comes to the daily or just the 1 minute charts here. It seems like I was kind of understanding more or less what I was doing at this point of the day, just because I took a step back and looked for the right patterns, looked for the right setups. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with what happened today. I think I only traded NRSN actually. Yeah, I only traded NRSN. So I had several stocks on watch. I think 5 this morning. NRSN was not one on watch, but it just so happens, I found this one ripping through VWAP here. I didn't think it was going to have all this potential, especially the way it was consolidating pre-market. But we had a massive rip, pullback, rip, pullback, rip. Got in on this last rip towards VWAP. It was holding support. Pulled back twice. It didn't false break on me, but it pulled back in 2 candles. I expected 1. So that was just a bad entry there. But it was a test, and I sold at this 1 minute low. So I sold with a 20-cent stop. Really, I need to keep it tighter, about 10 cents or if it's just not working out, I have to stop out a little quicker. I did get this trade. I got in pretty high, but that's okay because it actually ripped all the way up here to 73, sold out at the top, which is an awesome trade. I had a huge feeling it was going to resist once we hit 70, so I tried to sell up there in the 70s once we got that break. Then it pulled back, rejected massively, went below VWAP, but then popped back up again. We got another pullback, 2 candle pullback actually. It popped back up pretty high, and I kind of felt nervous about it. But because it held support and it was a 2 candle rip here and 1 candle pullback, I expected another 2 candle rip. So we got that 2 candle rip. I sold here at 7. I should have held a little longer for the break of 7. The reason I sold was because once we came up to 69, 68, we're having a little struggle there. So I didn't want to miss my, I guess, exit, and I decided to sell right at 7. Really, my true profit target was above 7. I didn't really have a specific area I wanted to sell at, maybe 705, 710. This thing ended up ripping to 720. And then we get, another candle open, rips through 720, 725, and then the last candle here from 710 all the way to 750, and then the very, very last one over here all the way through 750. So, I could have held a little longer, even added into this whole move here, wrote the whole thing up, but I really wasn't sure where else I could take an entry, especially since it was getting pretty extended off VWAP. I didn't really know where I wanted to get in or how far this thing could really go, just from how many rejections it had back here. So I don't know. I got to work on riding the wave. Once it starts making that pull away from VWAP, I got to figure out how to continue that momentum or keep trading in that range. But as of right now, I'm up on the day. Haven't been up on the day this entire week, so I'm pretty proud of myself today. Really taking a step back and looking at what I'm doing wrong and making these corrections. So with that being said, I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully we can see the same momentum, or we can see more stocks being active on the watch list, and make some more successful trades. So until then, I'll see you guys tomorrow.